girls. I'm going to show you how to use Animation Assist in Procreate. So if you open up Procreate and from the gallery, just hit plus and open up a screen size canvas. I always like to shrink the screen down so I can see the edges of the frame, or shrink your canvas. To turn on Animation Assist, you're going to go to the wrench in the top left corner, and then under Canvas, under Actions, and then you'll see the second one down, just toggle on Animation Assist. So Animation Assist actually turns every layer into one frame of the animation. So what we're going to do on this first one is we're going to create a bouncing ball. Go ahead and make sure and select an inking brush. I have the technical pen. And then make sure you like the thickness of your pen. Don't forget about tapping with 2 fingers to undo anything you want to undo, okay? So to first make a bouncing ball, we have to make a perfect circle. I know a lot of you probably think you know how to make a perfect circle, but it might actually be a perfect oval. So to make your perfect oval a perfect circle, you tap with the hand you don't draw with, and then you lift the pencil, and then lift the other hand. So I'll show you guys that one more time. So first of all, you can make a perfect oval and just hold it, and then tap with your opposite hand that you draw with, and then lift up the pencil before your other hand. So there's my perfect circle. This is gonna be my bouncing ball. In each frame of the animation, I'd like the bouncing ball to be the same size. So what I can do is I can just swipe this layer to the left and hit duplicate. So now there should be 2, but they are pasted right on top of each other. So if you just hit that blue arrow at the top, you can move your second bouncing ball. If you move inside the box, you might accidentally resize your ball. So when you go to move your ball, make sure your finger is outside of that dotted line box, okay? All right, so that basically we're just gonna do that again and again. We're gonna swipe left on the layer, duplicate, hit the arrow, put your finger outside the box to move it. And we're just gonna keep moving this little by little. The smaller your movements, the smoother your animation will be. So again, we just go to our layers, swipe left, duplicate, go to the arrow, and outside of the box with my finger, I'm going to move it into position. So I'm gonna keep doing this until my bouncing ball hits the bottom of the screen. Feel free to pause this video also whenever you want to, but I am at the point where my ball is close to the bottom of the frames. So remember, at the bottom, you can just hit play and kind of test your animation at any time. And then you can also go to your settings and you could change your frames per second. Don't make them too slow or it does look kind of weird and choppy. But I'm not going to mess with that right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys about when you get to the bottom. So if you remember stretch and pull, no, what was it called? Squish and stretch? Squish and stretch, I think that was it. So what I'm going to do at my very last layer, I'm going to duplicate this ball one more time. And then this time when I select it at the bottom, do you see where it says freeform, uniform, distort, warp? I like to go to freeform here and just stretch it out a little on the sides. So if I leave it stretched out on the sides but not squished at the top, it's going to look like a bigger ball. We want it to look like the same size ball, just squished down. So then I squish it a little bit from the top. So there's my squished ball. You can go ahead and hit play and just check how the squish is looking. And then what I like to do again is I like to take that squish ball, and you can do one of 2 things. You could just swipe left and duplicate your layer, or you could go down here and you could do hold duration. So I can hold it for 2 frames. So it's just basically the same frame staying still. So if I hit play on that again, you can see how it pauses at the end. So you can really see that squish. Okay, now after the squish, I would like to begin stretching. So I'm gonna take my squished layer. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna take my layer before the squish layer and I'm gonna duplicate that one. And then I'm gonna move it above my squish layer. So I now have my original ball size back, but I'm gonna reposition that over here. So it's like coming up from where it was squished. Another cool thing you could do is you could go to distort, and you could also kind of pull it out on the end to make it look like it's stretching now. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that one again. I'm gonna stretch it just a little bit more. So I'm going in at the sides and kind of out like that. And if you ever decide as you're playing that it needs like an extra squish layer at the bottom, you could always go back into your layers and you could just say, okay, I'm gonna do one more squishy layer and I'm gonna get a little bit more squishy. I'm gonna come out at the sides and down from the top. And then again, if you play it, you think it's too much squish, you could always take out a layer. And then I've got my stretch happening after that. Okay, so from my stretch layer, I would like an original shape back. So I'm gonna go duplicate one of these original ball shapes. But then what you have to do is you have to drag your layer up to the very top here. And then reposition that ball where you want it. So I'm gonna put it up here so it's starting to move that way. And then I'm going to keep duplicating and keep repositioning. So now you're seeing my ball kind of bouncing back the other way. So kind of ricocheting off into the right direction. Okay, I'm going to hit play on this one time so we can kind of see what it's looking like. So you can always deselect with your arrow at the top and then just hit play. We squish, we stretch. Kind of like a weird pause from the stretch to the regular at the end. So anyway, but that's how you animate a bouncing ball. We're going to make a waving stick man. So first thing, I want you to go to your Procreate gallery, open up a screen size canvas. So in the last video, we did a bouncing ball, but in this one, I don't want to move the whole stick man. I just want to move the arm of the stick man. So I want to show you how to move part of a layer. So first of all, make sure you have an inking brush to the thickness of your liking, and then just draw yourself a stick man. Remember, if you want to make a perfect circle, you can tap with your opposite hand of your drawing hand. Didn't turn into a perfect circle. What did I do there? Let me see. Let me try that again. I'm going to hold the oval and tap. Okay, there we go. Then if you would like to make your body parts, your body and your arms kind of floating a little bit away from each other, that does make them a little bit easier to move. You could, of course, draw in hands and feet later if you would like to. But for me, I just want to show you guys how to move these things. Maybe I'll go ahead and just draw like a little bit of a hand here so you guys can see it moving a little bit better. Okay, so first of all, we have to turn on animation assist. So wrench, under actions, make sure you have canvas selected and then toggle on animation assist. And then what we are going to do, we would like to move this guy's arm. So we are going to duplicate the guy. So we have two of our stick figures, one on top of the other. And if I hit the selection tool, it selects the whole man on that second layer. It selects everything on that layer. If you go to that little S, it looks like a ribbon right next door. And at the bottom, you select freehand. What you can do is you can outline just the arm. And then what I'm going to do is swipe the screen with 3 fingers at the same time. This is a little bit difficult to get the hang of. And then I'm going to cut and paste. So if I go to my layers, you see that I have my stick man on one layer and then his arm is on the next layer. So I have like full stick man, armless stick man, arm. So then now that my arm is on its own layer, I'm going to slightly reposition the arm to make it look like it's starting to wave. So I rotated with the green and then I moved it so that the shoulder would line up again. And then what you have to do, if you don't put the arm on the same layer as the guy, when you hit play, you're going to have like blinking on and off because there's layers with and without your person. So if you put the arm on the same layer as the guy, then you just see the arm moving. So let's go ahead and try that again. We're going to duplicate the man. So just swipe left, hit duplicate. Go to the S at the top of your screen. Make sure freehand is selected. You outline the arm that you want to move. Swipe the screen with 3 fingers down at the same time. Hit cut and paste. So again, we've separated the arm from the man. Then you hit your S selection tool. Oh, I'm sorry, no, hit the regular selection tool, and then you rotate the arm a little bit more. Remember, when you rotate, you'll probably need to line the shoulder back up. And then don't forget the last step is to put the arm back on the same layer as the man so that when you hit play, the man's not blinking on and off. Hold on, buddy. So here I have this slightly waving man. You guys could experiment with bringing the arm down so it's not just going up. You could also start rotating it downward. You could move facial features. You could have him wink. The more movements you do, obviously, the more time it will take. But the duplicating and the cutting and pasting, obviously another option you guys could do as well is you could duplicate your man and you could redraw parts of him also. So if instead of having the arm be straight, maybe on this one I want to erase the bottom portion and redraw it, or possibly just select the bottom portion, cut and paste that, and then I can rotate there. Oh, I think I just undid what I did there. Let me see. Yeah, so if I just select the bottom half of the arm, swipe with 3 fingers, cut and paste, rotate, reconnect at the elbow. So now I'm having the arm with a slight bend to it. That's another option. Or like I said, redrawing things in. Don't Don't forget to put your arm back on the same layer with your person. And yeah, don't forget you can adjust frames. And good luck.